What does open to trading someone really mean? Next on an Ask LOJ edition of Locked On Jazz.
You are Locked On Jazz, your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
How are you? I'm David Locke, radio voice of the Utah Jazz, Jazz NBA insider. This is Locked On Jazz. It's your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz, giving you insight, expertise, geeky numbers, and hopefully making it way better to be a Jazz fan each and every day. Thank you so much for making Locked On Jazz your first listen of the day, and thank you for making the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network. We are free and available on all podcasting apps, at YouTube as well. And the everydayers, the best. Thank you so much. All right, Jazz Spurs tonight coming your direction. Few things I want to get off for you that I have for you. It's exciting. One, SEG Plus this year will have the radio broadcast on it. So if you're thinking about subscribing to SEG Plus, hopefully that'll make you want to do it a little bit more. You should be able to get the radio broadcast. 2, SEG Plus is now an in-app experience for you. So they've made that better for you this year on SEG Plus. 3, SEG Plus has a fun little chat room this year taking place that you can, at least I was unaware of it a year ago if it existed. I was actually watching the Mammoth the other day and saw the chat room in SEG Plus, and then actually went to SEG Plus and stole a line from it the other day. Everyone. So that is some updates for you on SEG Plus. I'm pretty excited about having the radio broadcast available for you there also. It is not going to be up tonight, but it should be resolved early next week. And then we'll have a little thing where you can choose which feed of the broadcast you want. Spanish broadcast as well will be available for you, and that chat room. And that is a in-app experience for you, integrated with Jazz Plus, Mammoth Plus, SEG Plus, all there for you. So pretty great. If you've not subscribed to SEG Plus already, if you do so before the beginning of the season, you get a pair of tickets to an upcoming Jazz game. All right, it is an Ask LOJ edition. We've got a ton of stuff for you. We're going to talk about how I see the point guard. A lot of you guys are great. I got one guy was mad at me for not doing it last week. If you heard the story, I forgot my laptop when I went to Lincoln. My bad. Sorry about that. But I am here for you today. Questions about the length of the potential starting 5. Yusuf Nurkic love is at an all-time high after one preseason game. Cody Williams concern is peaking out. We'll get some comments on all of that as well, and some other notes for you. But we're going to start with what does it mean to be open to trading Lauri Markkanen? Those comments were made this week. By the way, today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. So Chris Mannix of NBC, he just got named one of the NBC insiders, and shortly thereafter had a report that came out on this. Chris is a good guy, know him very, very well. He originally out of Boston, that the Jazz are open to trading Lowry Markkanen. This report does not change my opinion at all. I do not think that the Jazz are eagerly looking to trade Lowry Markkanen. Okay? Like, that's the way I would phrase it. My headline, that would be my headline. The Jazz are not eagerly looking to trade Lowry Markkanen. Open to trading is a funny phrase. Like, I kind of think everyone's open to trading everyone, right? Like, at the right price, what player is not available in the NBA? So I kind of think I'm not criticizing Chris. Chris does great work, and I know Chris well. I think I understand he's trying to claim it's, more than just what I'm phrasing is like anyone can be traded. But I'm going to lay this out again. I think people come in and out of the show. The Jazz are trying to get somewhere. And let's assume for a second that Ace Bailey hits. And then we're going to draft whoever we draft next year. We'll say AJ for the sake of the conversation. and let's say he's going to hit, then you're going to start the process here. Ace is in your the next year will still be rough. Ace will be in his second year, like he'll be in his first year. You'll still be rough. And then Ace is in his third year, and this kid's in his second year. You're going to start working up. And by the time Ace is in the fourth year and this kid's in the third year, you're kind of ready to go. You need something around. Also, Lowry's a perfect player to have, as he can intermix at just about any position. He can play any style. He can intermix with any type of player. He's really a perfect player as you work this way up to have. And you need to have something there. If we just have Ace and we just have AJ and the cupboard's totally bare, then the ramp up is even harder. But if you have Lowry, who then slides in as your second or third best player, and hopefully Keonte's worked himself to viable and Walker's worked himself to viable, and you add 2 or 3 of these other young players, plus you have your cap space in the offseason, you add 2 or 3, you add the Isaiah Harkenstein, the Alex Caruso type players at Oklahoma City, you're ready to go. And we're trying to be ready to go here at some point. So it's not going to just be this constant thing of just trading players for the sake of trade. Now, the one thing I've talked about throughout this is if you believe there's a massive gap in our building that we need to address, which there could be, and secondarily, that massive gap could be filled by a young player or just any player in exchange for Lowry that would be a major piece, right? So that's the most talked about one is Jaden Ivey in Detroit. If you suddenly believe that Jaden Ivey is really, really important, so now you're going to be Jaden Ivey along with Ace and AJ, and you believe that that's your answer, well then maybe that is the answer. Then that's the scenario where, and if that is open to trading, then that's open to trading. But they're not eagerly looking to trade. I'm very certain of that. It doesn't make any sense is why I'm certain of it. Not that like Austin Ainge has told me or Justin Zanuck has told me. It doesn't make any sense. Like sometimes we got to walk these things through and use common sense and realize that like number one rule I would have for you is if you think someone's an idiot, head coach, GM, they're probably not. These men in most cases in almost all cases, ridiculously, have not done this and gotten these positions because they're dumb and they're idiots. Here's an example. I'm listening to the Locked On Cardinals football squad show the other day, and they are lamenting the fact that the Gannon or whoever their head coach is ran the ball on a 3rd and 8 with Kyler Murray, and then they punted, and then their defense couldn't get the stop against Carolina, and they're killing. Okay, I'm going to go that the head coach is not an idiot, nor is the offense coordinator. Maybe they think the offense coordinator might be. And that it's a sign of lack of confidence in Kyler Murray. Like they didn't trust Kyler Murray on a 3rd and 8 to not make a catastrophic mistake. That's the way I view it. Okay, so if you're kind of like banking on someone being an idiot in this, it doesn't work. So common sense is the Jazz are not eagerly looking to trade Lowry. The third one that I think is really, really important in this is how the salary, and just seems to be being missed constantly. The way the salary structure works in the NBA right now, Detroit could take Lowry's $40 million because Cade is at his number, and the second player hasn't been paid yet. But Lowry's probably a 3rd best player on a great team. And he makes $40 million. That's super hard for your 3rd best player right now. The Jazz will be able to absorb that if he's our 3rd or 2nd best player, because the AJ and Ace, or whoever AJ is, are going to be on rookie contracts. And so you can overplay your 3rd best player at that point for a while until you're paying all your other players. I also think there's something here which we're going to have to watch. Oklahoma City has seemed to be able to do it with Shea, Jalen, and Chet. I am not sure you can play 3 young players to their maximum level all at the same time. Let's keep an eye on this in the building. So the idea you go trade for Jaden Ivey, you're going to be paying Jaden Ivey, Ace Bailey, and your next guy, and it's hard. I think that's going to turn out to be hard. So are the Jazz open to trading Lowry Markkanen? I don't know what open means. I think everyone's open to trading every player in the NBA. The Jazz are not eagerly trying to trade Lowry Markkanen. I guess if a deal comes upon them in which they would get a young player they believe to be a key piece, one or two on the list of key pieces of the core for the future, they would probably consider it. They'd be open to it. Okay, so then they're open to it. But are they eagerly looking to trade Lowry? I do not think so, because it doesn't make common sense in the realm of how you're trying to build the franchise. Follow? Comments are welcome in the comment section or at X along the way. All right, that opened us up today. We're rolling right away. It is Locked On Jazz coming to you. What impressed me the most about Ace Bailey? Should we be concerned about Cody Williams? How do you see the point guard position evolving? Where's the starting five heading? All of these fun topics are right around the corner on Locked On Jazz. Today's show is brought to you by my good friends over at Murdoch Hyundai, located at 4646 South State Street, also in Logan and in Linden. Super appreciate all they do for us here at Locked On and all the great work they put in. It's been absolutely a fabulous partnership for us. And for me personally, frankly, the amount of cars I've bought from them back it up, as we, I think, are on our fifth iteration or sixth, and all of them are still up and running. Both kids have Santa Fe's at this point. I'm driving the Ioniq 5. I'm also driving the brand new hybrid that's absolutely fabulous in the process. My dad's got the Ioniq 6. My wife's got a Genesis, which is kind of the same thing. So I'm consistent with this all the way across the board. I also want to congratulate the Murdochs. They have made a new purchase. This is pretty exciting. The Murdoch Auto Team welcomes the new addition. It's the Murdoch Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Bountiful. That's right. Murdoch Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Bountiful. And for the month of October, you receive 0% for 6 years on the new Ram 1500. You will see it when you walk through the doors. You will feel like family. And if you are heading over and are interested in Chrysler, Dodge, or Jeep, or Ram, email me. I'll get you set up with a VIP. You can be our first over there at Murdoch Hyundai and Murdoch in Bountiful, Dodge, and Ram. Today's show is also brought to you by Prize Picks. What's your next move going to be with Prize Picks? Download the app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA and get $50 instantly when you play up to $5. That's right. Prize Picks has it going for you right now. With the NFL weekend ahead, you can decide, are you over or under on Russell Wilson's passing yards? Just kidding. That's what happened last night. The episode is brought to you by Jackson Dart, big win. The episode is brought to you, as I said, by Prize Picks. Every day, make decisions, but on Prize Picks, you can be right and you can get paid. So don't miss the excitement of this football season when you can get it right. Playing Prize Picks is such fun. Simple way. Is it Josh Allen's passing yards you're going to go play? Saquon Barkley's rushing for a touchdown. What is it going to be for you that's going to pull you in and add a little bit fun to your weekend? Follow players in the app, copy their lineups with one click. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNBA for $50 in the lineups after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Thanks so much for making Locked On Jazz your first listen of the day. We are free and available on all podcasting apps. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. Let's get back to your questions. You guys are the best. Thank you very much. These are always great shows. What impressed me the most about Ace Bailey in the first game? The ability to get his shot off. That's it. To me, how quickly he was able to get his feet set, come off pin downs, catch it. His ability to get his shot off, I thought, was really terrific. Gets his feet set, that athletic. It's hard to get shots off in the league. So a lot of guys that get to this league and can't get shots off. The #1 thing to me that impressed me the most about Ace Bailey was his ability to get the shot off. Should we be concerned about Cody Williams' performance in the first preseason game? I don't think so. Let me walk you through my thoughts on Cody Williams. Cody Williams was the youngest player drafted a year ago. Probably should have never seen an NBA floor, right? Physically just wasn't there. Maybe in the last 15, 20 games. Cody basically should have, I think, played G League, worked on his skills, gotten stronger, eaten his 4,500 calories a day, done all the things he did, gained his 16 pounds, and he's done, and then we should be seeing him right now. And if he hadn't really played, then all I'd really be expecting out of Cody right now would be to be a end of the bench, end of the rotation player, not end of the bench, end of rotation player. So I would be expecting 14 to 16 minutes a night and having a defensive impact, possibly hit a 3 here or there, shoot better than, probably shoot 35% from 3 when you get your opportunities, maybe a little better on the corners, and be impactful defensively and some open court plays and grasp an opportunity or two. And that would be what I'm looking for from Cody. Not 28 minutes a night, suddenly scoring 14 points a game. I mean, really, if we thought about it, that he shouldn't have probably played at all last year, or if he was on a good team, he wasn't playing at all last year, then I think you have to temper down. So I did see I saw Andy Larson's tweet that the bad news is Cody. I'm not sure I totally agree. I didn't think he was great, but he was 1 of 5, sure. So he drove to the basket twice, aggressively missed both of those, and missed something else, and then made something else. He goes 2 for 5, and are we not worried about it? Okay, let's so I'm not concerned. I probably just have a lower expectation of what I'm expecting to see out of Cody Williams. And also, let's go back to the draft process. It wasn't like he was lighting up Colorado. He was a nice player with a lot of potential, with great length, good explosion, 1-foot jumper, and I liked him a lot. But I was also stretching the projection on him a great deal. And so when you consider that, and then he's got a whole body transformation to go on, and he was a youngest kid in the draft, then I think the expectation to him this year should be, if you're getting 15 or 16 minutes a night out of Cody, regularly in the rotation, having an impact defensively and making a play or two, you're pretty good. I'm fine with that. What about the point guard position? How do you see it evolving throughout the season, or will it be the same? Well, it won't be the same, because I think Keonte is going to grasp that starting point guard position to open it up. And it's going to be interesting because we're not going to have a lot of – the way I see the starting lineup going right now, we are short a ball handler or two, unless Ace can really handle. So, yeah, I think if you start to think, if it's going to be Keonte and Ace in the backcourt with Lowry, Walker, and whoever the fourth starter is, then there's not a lot of ball handler. Lowry's not a ball handler. Walker's not a ball handler. Ace will see. So Keontae's got a huge responsibility. One of the things the Jazz really want to do is push the tempo, get across half court faster. That'll be harder to do with fewer ball handlers than you would have otherwise. The point guard position I see evolving throughout the season is I think it's Keontae's to have and hold for the whole year, and I suspect he will. The scenario by which he doesn't hold it is that either when Isaiah Collier gets healthy from his hamstring injury, which could be a little bit, or that Walt Clayton gets comfortable, that one of them emerges to a point in which they earn a spot, and Keonte slides to the 2 at that point, then Ace slides to 3, Lowry slides to the 4. That would be the only evolution I would see out of the point guard this year. Otherwise, I think it's Keys to have. And to be the leader on this team that he's been so far. I had a really nice, lengthy conversation with him after practice yesterday. He's just in a great headspace. And he's growing up, and he seems positive, and he's eager, and he's leading the vibe on this team right now. So I think that's his position. Do you really think the energy and good vibes are because the ones that left, or could it be the minivan, or hope that the Pacers brought the idea of solid team play? All right, let me go in reverse order. The Pacers did bring the idea of team play. You know what players really like is playing a fun brand of basketball where everyone shares and everyone's got equal things. That's what I was talking to Key about a lot yesterday. Key was like, we're going to play a fun brand of basketball. Everyone's going to share it. We're going to have different guys, different nights. And he was really excited about that. This leads to the first issue. Do you think the energy and good vibes are really because of the ones that left? If I'm just being 100% honest, yes. Can I say that without being critical of Colin Sexton and John Collins and Jordan Clarkson? Because that's how it's intended. I don't know if I'm taking a huge gamble right now that people are going to hear it that way. There's 2 aspects to this. One, those are just big personalities. They just took the oxygen in the locker room and on the floor. Okay? That's what they should do. That was their role. That was what they were supposed to do. There's no criticism there. But when they're gone, it leaves oxygen to be had, and Keonte and the young players have grabbed it collectively, and it is now becoming their team. Even the most telling comment was Lauri in his press conference saying, wow, I came back in the locker room, and they're all going, like, there's an energy, and Lauri was, like, noticeable, like, wow, I came back from Finland, and the locker room's completely different. Okay. Now I'm going to dance a line here where I'm going to, again, trust you. Colin and Jordan didn't play 0.5 basketball. And nor did John, really. 0.5 basketball is you get the ball, you make a quick decision, you move it. Colin and Jordan played one-on-one isolation basketball. And Colin and Jordan didn't always do it in the manner that when I went, this is my observation. I watched the plays be built, and then I watched the game, and it wasn't the same thing. Because they're using their own personal creativity to get their buckets. And they're both great at that. So we can have a discussion. This is not a criticism of saying that's good or bad. That's just saying, like, that's what they did. And Colin scores at a rate higher than 95% of players in the NBA. And Jordan is able to flame on, like, okay, that's what they do. But if you're a teammate and they're doing that, you don't always know how to react. And it's hard to play with. It's not easy to play with. I'm sure that'll happen here when someone tries to become a hero. I mean, that's kind of what Key and I were talking about. It's like this all works until someone breaks out of it and starts to try to be a hero and make it about them instead of the team. But in the meantime, this is all going to work, that everyone's egalitarian and different guys step up and get opportunities and the game plays the way it's going to play. That's going to work until someone busts it. But those guys busted it every game, every night, every play. Because that's how they play. And that's probably what we needed at the time. None of these guys were ready for that. But so do I think the good energy and the good vibes are because the ones that left? Yes. Do I think it's because they were bad when they were here? No. Please hear that clearly. Colin's one of my all-time favorite guys to be around. Jordan is so special and unique in who he is. And John was, I'll be honest, I've said this before. When I first met John, I was like, oh no, this is a charade. And it wasn't a charade. It's exactly who John is. He is a high-fiving, positive energy guy all the way through. They're great people, but they had all the oxygen. And now someone else has the oxygen. And that's good for where this team is right now. That is not a criticism of Jordan Clarkson, Colin Sexton, and John Collins. It sucks that I have to be this clear about this, but I think it's smart that I do that because that is not how it's intended. And I know you will take it exactly as I meant because you are a Locked On Jazz everydayer, and you guys are the best, and I appreciate that out of you. It's the person that decides to grab it for a quick hit that has me a little more nervous, but you, I'm not worried about. Have the Jazz found their starting five in one game of the preseason? That's next as we continue on Locked On Jazz. Today's show is brought to you in part by our friends over at FanDuel. That's right. Football season. Oops, that's not FanDuel. That's Peloton. Football season is here. And with a $5 bet right now, if you win, you get a $300 bonus bets to play with on the app. That's a pretty fun deal. That's right. New customers bet $5, get $300 in bonus bets if you win. Pick a bet, put down $5. If it hits, you unlock $300 in bonus bets across the app. Can I give a suggestion? Because I'm not going to tell you how to gamble or how to do that because it is what it is. But my suggestion to you would be find a really large spread on a college football game this weekend and then play that money line and get your $300 in bonus bets. That would be the way I would do that if I were in your circumstance and in your position and had this opportunity. So you do however you wish, but that is just my thoughts for you. I don't know if you think Ohio State at 14.5 is enough against Illinois. I would probably like to find something that's more in like the Army 18.5 against Charlotte, or James Madison 17.5 against Louisiana, or go find something like Penn State 22.5 against Northwestern. There's got to be something bigger than that. You can go find them at FanDuel.com, bet your $5 and get your $300 of bonus bets to play along. Visit at FanDuel.com. Today's show is also brought to you by Quo. Quo. Who's Quo? Is that a new sponsor for Locked On? They keep killing it. They're the #1 sports podcast network in the country, and they have a new sponsor. Well, kind of. Quo is actually open phone. Same great product. They've just changed their name. And that is here for you. And as I've told you multiple times, I only wish that I had Quo when I was running Locked On to Start, because it's a great business phone system that you've heard me talk about before. It just has a new name. So here's why it matters. Every missed call is lost money and done incorrectly, or your total annoyance when it's your own phone number. Just saying, when every customer counts, you need a phone system that keeps you connected 24/7. Quo is the #1 business phone system that streamlines customer communications. It works right through an app on your phone or your computer. So no more carrying 2 phones or relying on landlines or missing things or being annoyed. So Quo is there for you. It collects all and collaborates on calls and texts like a shared inbox. No customer gets left hanging out, and their built-in AI agent is a game changer that can answer after-hour calls, capture leads, keep businesses moving, all there. See why over 90,000 businesses trust Quo, formerly Open Phone. Get started free and get 20% off your first 6 months at quo.com/lockedon. That's QUO.com/LockedOnNBA. That's QUO.com/LockedOnNBA. If you got existing numbers with another service, Quo will port them over at no extra charge. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. That's really good. Thanks so much for making Locked On Jazz your first listen today. You guys are the best. SEG Plus signups and get radio this year on that as well, by the way. Yay! Very excited about that. Working on some other fun things. Don't know if they're going to happen. Hoping to be super innovative, break through, do new products, give you guys new opportunities, all sorts of great stuff on the broadcast this year. I will only know shortly whether they actually come together. Getting some great help from the people in the Jazz marketing department, so hopefully we will get there. Do we know the starting 5 since Taylor played so well in game 1? Maybe out of the process of elimination a little bit too, if I'm being totally frank. Like Filipowski has not done a lot in camp yet. Probably we'll see him next week, I would hope, if his back comes back around. And I think he was the other prospect to start. The other question would be whether you start Bryce in there. But if Taylor can make shots like he did the other night, there's probably no reason it's not Taylor, and Taylor looked totally comfortable. I saw him last night in the hotel lobby and just asked him if he had fun, and he had a huge smile on his face. Can we win games just because we're so long? Yeah, maybe. Thurl Bailey pulled me across the practice here. She's like, look at how long we are. If we start Keonte George, Ace Bailey, Lauri Markkanen, Taylor Hendricks, and Walker Kessler, we have 4 players with a wingspan over 7 feet. Yes, maybe we can win games because we're just so long. What does it take to be a good screen setter? We know what it looks like with Rudy, but what are the components of a good screen, and why is Nurkic so good? But Taylor and Walker have a lot to learn. It's a great question. Thank you very much. So Rudy was all about angles and length, and Quinn Snyder really pummeled. Nurkic is about size, strength, and not being movable. Like if you run into Nurkic, you're Velcroed. You're just not moving. That man is his thighs, his tree trunks are massive. Bowler and I were talking about this yesterday. Like, wow, it's crazy how big he is. Walker used to be on his tippy toes all the time, and he's changed this, but Walker used to have no foundation. Walker would come up in his rookie year and run up, set a pick, and he was like on his tippy toes like he was a ballet dancer. And then he would get hit, and he would get dislodged, and it would never make contact. So the first thing is Rudy was able to do it with the angles and base strength. His legs got stronger, he got better. Nurkic is just doing it out of pure power. Like if you get hit by Nurkic, he's so big. He's just so much bigger than you assume, I think, also as a defender. You think you're around him and you're not. So Walker needs to get that base and that strength. Taylor does too. Taylor's might be a little different because I don't think he's going to be playing a lot of 5. So a lot of his stuff will be off switches where he rolls out of it and has to read the defenders. There was a thing at practice the other day where, this is the level of detail these guys are that's so great. And I don't want to get into it too much, but literally there was a level of detail where you were setting a pick and looking at the defender's feet. And if the defender, as they were coming toward you's feet, were in a certain form, you're supposed to slip it. If not, you're setting the pick. Pretty cool stuff to watch, and the level of detail these guys are going at. And it was kind of cool to see that. So I think on Walker, the issue is physical strength, which he's gotten way better at. And then he's got to hold his ground, and then he's got to make that read right. That read I'm talking about right there. Is this a pick or is this a slip? Can the play of Yusuf Nurkic mean we trade Walker Kessler? Oh, let's not get too excited after a single game. I I do think he gives us 48 minutes to center, which is great. I think Walker's still terrific. He led the league in offensive rebounds last year. He's high in block shots. He's got to learn how to play better team defense. That's what they're working on. That's his 4th year in the NBA. That's totally natural. So let's not get too excited on this one. Walker was pretty darn good last year. Nurkic was really, really good last night. Really vital to getting Ace Bailey going. Will help people offensively. Everyone's going to want to play with him because of his pick setting. But also, like, dude, his track record of the last 4 or 5 years is he's a pretty good offense player, not a great defensive player. Doesn't work out in Phoenix last year for whatever reason, but really because they just played high pick and roll with him and made him roll, and I think he lost interest. So I wouldn't get over, like, I think that's overdoing it a little bit. And also, like, one preseason game against a team that wasn't playing a lot of defense is probably not the answer. How much cap space are the Jazz projected to have next summer, and would they generally be slated for Walker? Can they use the cap space to sign another player and then match and sign Walker? So this is great. Let's make sure we all understand. The reason the Jazz did not give Walker an extension is because the Jazz will have cap space. I don't know the number. Let's call it 25 to 30, I think. They can sign someone in that cap space and then sign Walker as their own free agent and exceed the cap. Had they signed Walker for whatever number they were, or Walker had agreed to whatever number they offered Walker, it's not like they didn't make him an offer. At least to the best of my knowledge, they made him an offer. Then that new deal would take away whatever amount of money more than Walker's qualifying offer would take away that take a snippet out of that $25 or $30 million of cap space. And so you can now sign Walker in the offseason. If the Jazz got a rotation player in 2026 draft and trade Lowry, several of the 7 youngsters will have to be let go. My priority, okay. So, well, Ace is the piece. Like, let's just not hide it. Like, Ace, our future right now is Ace's development is as the most single important piece to our future. I've talked about this all summer long. I think this is the most fascinating part of the season. We don't need all 7 youngsters to hit. We need 2 or 3. And if 4 or 5 or 6 do, then you're moving them for other pieces. But we don't need all 7 youngsters to hit. So take out Walker, take out Lowry, take out Ace. You have Keonte, Bryce, and Taylor from that class. You have Kyle, Isaiah, and Cody from that class. And you have Walt Clayton. And those 7, we need 3 of them to hit. I don't know that 3 of them will, frankly. Like, it's hard. It's really, really hard. I'm not like, that wasn't supposed to be like some dramatic comment. That was more of a comment about how hard this league is. But yeah, we need 3 of those guys to become viable NBA rotation players as this thing progresses. If you get more, great. If you get less, you got to fill the gaps with money, which is hard. Final one. Start the season. How many minutes do you think outside vets getting? I don't know. I will say this. They play better when they have these guys on the floor. Nurkic is going to get minutes. Nurkic is going to get 20 minutes a night. Niang hasn't played. They played better the other night when Kyle Anderson was on the floor. He makes everyone better. They played better when Kevin Love was on the floor. He makes everyone better. His defense is lacking at this point. He's playing backup center the other night. He's not a backup center. But he's not very mobile to switch 1 through 5. I mean, Kevin's at a late stage in his career. They'll play better when these guys are on the floor. And these guys right now are better than some of our youngsters. So I don't know the answer, but it's going to be an interesting one to see how it plays. I love this question. You normally read a book or two during the off season. Any recommendations? I read James. I thought it was super good. And honestly, I know this sounds weird. Well, actually, I don't care what it thinks. It's been hugely valuable to me. Every summer, the minute the season's on, I choose 1 or 2 things I'm going to learn and add to my life. And I'm going to do in the summer. And so I actually started with coding and Buddhism as my mixed bag to be doing. And then I pulled back on the coding because I could do most of it through Claude without knowing how to code, though I probably need to learn a little bit still. And so I actually spent most of my summer reading Buddhism stuff. And I will tell you, let me just say this quickly. I think it's a philosophy, not a religion. So if you're religious, it does not preclude you from reading any of it. I'm not going to be a zealot who tells you all about it. I'm going to tell you it's been massively important to me. How's that? So thank you for asking. I appreciate the real life questions. That is Locked On Jazz today. Have a wonderful day. Ron and I will be with you on the broadcast. I hope you tune in. We will have a great deal of fun. We always do. We will be with you postcast afterwards. Thank you so much for tuning in. We now send you the first ever 24/7 national NBA channel on YouTube, Locked On NBA. And if you're on audio, make sure you go to Locked On NBA and get Wes, Hayes, and Matt.